Yo, what's going on, guys? Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and the Houston Texans have done their usual, take a big L to the Washington Commanders as they lose 23-10 at home. You know, not the best game for the Texans. They only had 3 points going into the fourth quarter. Did not score their first touchdown until 3 minutes left of the fourth quarter. Just a really disappointing day from the Houston Texans. You know, I will be fair. They limited the Commanders to 3 points at halftime. I mean, after halftime, they only scored 3 points in the first half. In the second half, my bad. But at the same time, I don't see that as an accomplishment for this defense at all. Yes, it looks like a good number. It looks like a good stat. But the Commanders were playing slow and not really trying to score up 20. So there's no really reason to rush and try to. So it's the Commanders were up 20-0, and then they were up 20-3, and then they were up 23-3. So, it's not like they were trying as much as they were in the first half. If they would have been playing like they were in the first half, which they did have a great first half, I think the Texans probably would have lost like 35 something, like 34-10 or 34-13, something like that in this game if the Commanders were playing that kind of football that they did in the first half. So yeah, let's get into it. So in the first quarter, the Commanders get a pick six on Davis Mills' second pass. He throws a 37-yard interception return to Kendall Fuller. Joey Slye makes extra point. Then in the second quarter, with 11 minutes to go, we had no scores the rest of the way in the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, with 11 minutes, Curtis Samuel with a 10-yard touchdown run and make it 14-0. Then with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, the Commanders knock in a 25-yard field goal, 17-0. Then with 7 seconds to go right before halftime, the Commanders knock in a 24-yard field goal to make it 20-0, and that's what we go into halftime with. In the third quarter, with 9:53 minutes in the Texans' first drive after halftime, the Texans have a great drive, get to the goal line, and ultimately they drive 64 yards, but it was not enough for a touchdown. They settle for a 29-yard field goal with Farrenbarren, and this was a very disappointing drive for me because, Mills threw some good passes in this drive, had a great pass to Brandon Cooks, a big play to Brandon Cooks. Might have been like 40, 30 yards, something like that. And Texans got all the way down to to the 4 or 5 yard line, backed themselves up all the way to the 12, and were not able to knock in a touchdown, but they did get in the field goal. With 12 minutes in the fourth quarter, the Commanders and Joey Slye knock in a 44-yard field goal to make it 23-3. And then the Texans score a touchdown right at the end as Davis Mills runs it in for 4 yards and is 10-23 as Farrenbarren makes extra point. Go over the stats. Heineke was 15 for 27, the former backup for Taylor Heineke. I was actually at the game where he played for the Texans. I was against the Steelers on Christmas Day of 2017. It's funny, he came in for a injured, I forgot his name. I can't remember his name. He sucks so bad, though. He came in for an injured quarterback. Matt something. He came in, and then he got hurt, and the guy that got hurt before him had to come in, and then Heineke went to the XFL, and it's really good to see this journey from him. It's one of my favorite stories in the NFL right now is Taylor Heineke's journey into becoming a full-time starter for the Commanders. As he's battled through so much, he had to go to the XFL to just get his career back. So I love the story of Taylor Heineke and him upsetting the Eagles last week and now him beating us. But he throws for 191, 0 touchdown passes today. They only scored 2 touchdowns against us today, and that was a touchdown run and the pick six. Mills was 19 for 33 with 169 yards and 2 interceptions. Just awful stats. And rushing yards, Gibson with 18 carries and 72 yards. And this is my least favorite stat of them all. Davis Mills was the leading rushing yard. That's how much offense we did not have today. Mills had 5 carries, 10 yards, and 1 touchdown. I will admit, Davis Mills had a good rushing game today. Because that doesn't. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking that doesn't. He had way more than 10 because of how many times he was sacked, but that doesn't count. But he was sacked way too much times today, and we will go over that. Receiving yards, Logan Thomas, 5 receptions, 65 yards, and Cooks with 3 receptions and 70 yards. Let's go over the box score. What a bad game from Damian Pierce. The Washington D-line just had him figured out today. He had 10 carries and 8 yards. He also had 2 receptions and 9 yards. I don't know if he got hurt. I don't know what happened there. Not enough offense. Brian Robinson had 15 carries, 57 yards for the Commanders. For the Texans, talked about Cooks, but Collins was the second wide receiver with yards with 5 receptions and 48 yards with a 22 was his longest. Brandon Cooks' catch that I was talking about was a 41-yard reception. McLaurin had 4 receptions and 55 yards. Gibson had 3 receptions and 31 yards. Chris Moore had 5 receptions and 20 yards. Only fumble in this game was a fumble by Taylor Heineke. I don't know if the Texans recovered that. I don't think the Texans recovered that. I think the Commanders recovered that. And the Commanders sacked Davis Mills 5 times today. The Houston Texans had 0 sacks in this one, which is only had 4 tackles for losses. The tackles for losses was Roy Lopez, Rasheem Green, who was questionable, he played, Okongro, and Christian Kirksey. Interceptions, Forrest and Fuller. Forrest did not return it, but obviously you know that Fuller went to the house. Gibson had 2. Antonio Gibson's playing kick return. That's cool. And so that's it for the game, and that's it for the pregame and the postgame. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on the game because the Texans did not play good today, and that's been the story of the whole season, and that's how the season's gonna finish the ride out. So that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the game, the way the team played. A bad game for Mills. He was sacked so many times. It felt like more than 5. I can't believe it was 5. I thought it was maybe like 7 or 8. I thought it was way more than that. But yeah, so that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Texans.